That's exactly right. So what is the White House doing? It's really telling what the White House is doing today. No public events on President Biden's schedule. No press briefing today. The White House is essentially in hiding because they do not have a message other than doubling down on these spending bills, which I totally agree should be reassessed given that they've been rejected in our Fox News polling, given what happened last night, a resounding message. I mean, last night was a shellacking. To put this into perspective, you had a political novice and Glenn Youngkin, someone who never run for office, someone who had 2% name ID, 2% when he began this, defeat the entire Democrat establishment. President Barack Obama, President Biden, Kamala Harris, Terry McAuliffe, who was a once popular governor. He defeated them all. And why? Because of the failures of the Biden presidency, which dovetailed with the rise of Glenn Youngkin. Exactly. Afghanistan happened in August. Glenn Youngkin started to rise. All of a sudden, McAuliffe took Biden off of his mailers. He essentially evaporated from the race. He wouldn't say his name on the debate stage. Terry McAuliffe called his own president unpopular, but Joe Biden still insisted on coming to Virginia.
Biden is hiding as the Democrats commit suicide after their humiliating losses. In this video, we're going to see how the Democrats are actually doubling down on what's become the most unpopular political agenda imaginable. We're going to see how the lamestream media is doubling down with them. And stick with me to the very end of this video where I'll reveal why the Democrats' recalcitrance will ultimately result in their own demise. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Stevie with you. Wonderful to be with you as always. And as many of you know, we've been celebrating an anniversary of this week. It was 5 years ago this very week that we started this YouTube channel, and look at how far we've come. It's been absolutely amazing. So in celebration of our 5-year anniversary, we are discounting tickets to our upcoming Patriot Live event on November 12th and 13th by 40%. But gang, they're going fast. We only have about 100 general admission tickets left, and we're just 8 days away from the live event. So you cannot wait. Click on that link below and register at a 40% discount for a virtual conference that's going to teach you how to lead your family to freedom without sacrificing your beliefs, values, or God-given rights, and build a society free from all things woke. Again, we only have about 100 tickets left, so do not wait. Click on that link in the description below, and let's build back the nation that we all know and love together. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. The Democrats are falling apart right now as we speak. Make no mistake, they have absolutely no idea about what to do in the face of such utterly humiliating losses that they suffered in the last 48 hours. As of today, Biden is basically hiding. He made no attempt to speak to reporters upon his return from that disastrous trip to Europe, which was an embarrassment in and of itself. The New York Post went even further, saying that he looked actually crestfallen upon his return, and for good reason. Last week, Biden reportedly told the Democrat caucus behind closed doors, quote, "We badly need a vote on both of these measures. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that the House and Senate majorities in my presidency will be determined by what happens in Virginia and New Jersey next week." Well, perhaps that explains why Biden had 0 public events scheduled for yesterday. 0. Nada. And I'd say he's hiding under his desk, but it doesn't even appear that he's left his bedroom at this point. In the meantime, the Democrats are doing what they do best, ignoring the will of the voters. As of today, the Democrats are doing everything they can to try to pretend that what happened on Tuesday of this week did not happen. It didn't happen. And we know that because they're currently doubling down on their attempt to get Brandon's Build Back Better fiasco passed. Even the left-wing media is a tad bit shocked at this recalcitrance on the part of congressional Democrats and their obstinate willfulness in passing an agenda that no one in the country, no one on the planet wants. Kyle Smith on Twitter said it well. Confused elderly drivers often hit the gas when they should be hitting the brakes. He said that in response to reports that Biden and the Democrats are actually doubling down on getting past their massive spending bills as soon as absolutely possible. Spending bills that would impose upon our nation the very far left policies that were resoundingly rejected, and here's the key, in otherwise reliably blue states and blue districts. These policies weren't just overwhelmingly rejected in places like, say, Tennessee or rural Texas. They were resoundingly rejected in places that had voted for Biden by double digits mere months ago. And yet, as of today, the Democrats are sticking their fingers in the ears and reciting an ongoing mantra, all as they look away from the express will of their very own constituents. And there's a reason why the Democrats feel so free to disregard the voters beyond their inherent entitlement and brazen arrogance. And that, of course, is the cover that's run for them 24/7 by the far-left activists disguised as journalists in the mainstream media, all of whom defer to the same talking points, the same issues, the same framing of the... You got to wonder why you have different news outlets like the New York Times, Washington Post, and CNN and MSNBC when they all just parrot one another in their own pathetic little echo chamber. It's bizarre. By the way, did you know that the state of Virginia made history this week by electing their very first female black lieutenant governor? Well, if all you did was watch CNN and MSNBC, you would not. And that's because both so-called news networks, which is a term that's becoming laughable at this point, both so-called news networks ignored her victory speech. I wonder why they did that. Well, take a listen to her victory speech, and I think you'll figure out why.
So I say to you, victory indeed. But I say to you, there are some who want to divide us, and we must not let that happen. They would like us to believe we are back in 1963 when my father came. We can live where we want. We can eat where we want. We own the water fountains. We have had a black president elected not once but twice, and here I am, living proof. In case you haven't noticed, I am black, and I have been black all my life.
CNN and MSNBC ignored that amazing and inspired speech. They purposely and willfully ignored it, and instead, they gave us this.
Information. It's carrying the rest of the country out to sea. Glenn Youngkin, even though he held Donald Trump at arm's length, fully embraced Trumpism. I mean, if you look at what happened in Virginia, he was carpet bombing the Commonwealth with disinformation. He was saying that critical race theory was coming into Virginia schools. No, it's not. That's not the case at all. He was also saying that election results need to be audited in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Is he going to ask for his own election results to be audited? I guess we should be satisfied that there's not going to be an insurrection in Richmond. But that's the kind of campaign that Glenn Youngkin was running. Now,
that, my friends, is what you call a borderline illiterate. Jim Acosta, not Acosta, Acosta. He's emphatically not a reporter. He's a heckler. And you should know that Jim Acosta is despised even by CNN's own audience. Fox News found that 3 weeks into the launch of his own program for CNN viewership actually dropped 30% whenever Acosta was on air. You let that hit you. CNN's already dwindling audience actually dropped every time Acosta's program was featured. That's how pathetic this guy is. So what does all this recalcitrant dumbling down by both the lamestream media and the Democrats add up to? Well, before we get into that, just as a reminder, hey, if you like my t-shirts, you can get one for yourself. Make sure to click on the link below. We've got some awesome brand new Let's Go Brandon shirts you're going to absolutely love, plus a whole host of Patriot designs. They're a limited edition, so they're not going to be around for long. So click on that link below and get one for yourself, get one for your friends, for your loved ones. They will absolutely love you for it. So what's all this doubling down by the Democrats amounting to? Well, how's this from Brittany Hughes? Quote, "Dear Dems, it is excellent political strategy to threaten people with vax mandates, kick parents out of schools, and blame everything on racism. Please keep doing exactly that, except louder." Well, it would appear that they're actually taking Brittany's advice, wouldn't it? The Democrats and their surrogates and lamestream media are what we call a ruling class. And a ruling class, by definition, has no interest in the values and concerns of those it rules. We talked about this last week in our video on Tucker Carlson, and is exposing the fact that the Biden administration was actually considering paying out hundreds of thousands of dollars to illegal immigrants. Scholars call this re-feudalization. And the basic gist of it is that just as feudal societies were governed according to the norms and wishes of a privileged class, lords, nobles, dukes, and the like, so globalist societies are increasingly governed according to the interests and concerns and values of a permanent political class. You see, this is why they don't care about us. Oh, when it comes to election time, sure, they give us their heart-tugging speeches. They bite their lips telling us how much they feel our pain. But as we can see so plainly from this week, when we voice our concerns at the ballot box in ways they don't approve of, we're insulted, we're mocked, we're dismissed as bigoted bumpkins and racist rubes. Remember, the white suburban women who far-left activists are excoriating today as the paragons of white supremacist patriarchy for their overwhelming support of Glenn Youngkin, those are the very same women who those very same far-leftists were celebrating and revering literally 12 months ago this very week when they supposedly helped kick out Trump. Even the far-leftists over at the Daily Beast are recognizing that screaming at persuadable voters who you just happened to fail to persuade this last time around, screaming that they're racist bigots, probably not a winning strategy. But what the Daily Beast doesn't get is that such disparagement from the left isn't a strategy. It's who they are. The left is a ruling class, not a representative one. And it does appear that when all is said and done, the major lesson from the elections this week is that in a representative republic, ruling classes always end up losing. Now, before we go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video on how woke colleges are closing down permanently across the country. It's going to absolutely make your day. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.